It is a story about a woman in France during World War II, a Jewish woman, Sabine, and it follows her life over many, many years when the war is unfolding, and she and her husband Miron decide to try to help Jewish families who are in French refugee camps, helping them by taking their children and protecting them from the Nazis. And so they managed to get a house which they run as a kind of a school slash home for all of these Jewish children.
Just about a year before the end of the war, the house was raided and the children were sent to Auschwitz, and none of them survived. So it's a very sad book, but it's a very powerful story. And Sabine spent the rest of her life making sure that the tragedy of the children would never be forgotten, and that indeed the children themselves would never be forgotten. So the House of Izieu is now a museum.
As I understand, Jan went there, so she saw the property, she saw that part of the towns nearby, and there's so much incredibly rich detail about the landscape, and then her details about even with children who you can't get very much information about. She's got their age, and in her writing, she seems to capture a child of a certain age in a really rich way. This is an incredibly rich story and showing human beings in their real lives. So it's filled with light and laughter and humor, as well as real depth of emotion and real pain.
To me, it was really important to have someone whose voice had some gravitas, because it's not a light, cheerful tale. It's a very serious subject matter, but also someone who could do the children. And Alison was perfect, I thought, absolutely perfect.
I think it just felt rewarding to honor those people's lives, and some of them were short lives, and still to feel like you get to kind of tell their story in their words, a fictionalized version of their words. And I'm actually getting emotional just thinking about it. The rewards of that, I think, are still actually sinking in for me over a year later. My history as a feminist draws me to this central character of Sabine as a woman of strength, a woman of great courage, a woman who stands up to real threat and real danger, facing forward, unapologetic and brave, and not afraid to, not being driven by her own need for safety. That appeals to me as a way forward and a kind of a vision for the future that I want.
I don't think that you build the kind of lasting feminist future without knowing what women have done in the past. It's so important that women not be invisible in history. I think the values of the women that I write about are the values that I want feminist futures to have.